This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's worst 250 movies so you do not have to.
I'm Michelle St. Clair.
My name, Abigail Ward.
And this week we watched Beverly Hills, Chihuahua. While on vacation in Mexico, Chloe, a ritzy Beverly Hills Chihuahua, finds herself lost and in need of assistance in order to get back home. Let's watch.
We should just start talking in the Australian newscaster voices. This week is Beverly Hills, Chihuahua.
You're so good at it.
Thank
I
you
always
so much.
think because
I'm Abigail Ward.
do you ever when you want to do an impression, do you hear it in your head and then try and replicate it, or do you just go for it?
I just go for it on vibe and instinct.
When I want to do it, I hear it in my head. How well I can do an impression is determined by two things. One is how well I can replicate the voice saying whatever I want in my head, and then I'm trying to mimic that voice.
I try and think of an example of someone actually doing it rather than trying to think of me doing it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you fall into the problem that I do with the New York voice and the Michael Caine.
What if I just imagine myself doing it badly?
Yeah.
I'll just end up doing it badly.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm Abigail Ward.
And I'm Michelle St. Clair.
A man has been brought into hospital
You're
with
so
4
good at
gun
it.
wounds.
I think it's one of your best impressions,
Thank you
honestly.
so much.
It's really great. But I wanted to start. I got a question for you, Abby.
Okay.
Do you think a reverse shocker is 2 in the stink and 1 in the pink, or do you think it's when the pink and the stink put something in you?
I'm speechless, Michelle.
This is what I was thinking about right before you arrived, and I was like, this counts as an opening.
Do I think what could logically occur, because it's clearly the former, or what I would want to occur, which is the latter?
Oh, you desire.
I would desire, I'd love a pussy to be put in me for once, you know?
So it's about reciprocities less than it is about a fetish or whatever.
But really, I mean, if we're talking in all seriousness, Michelle, okay, let's bring it down a level. It's clearly 2 in the stink, 1 in the pink.
Okay, all right. I guess.
It'd be very difficult to completely prolapse a pussy and an anus and shove it in your own.
But what a feat it would be.
No, it's a pussy and an anus, not a feet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. Apologies to all the foot fetishes out there for promising and then not following up.
I just not to yuck anyone's yum. I just really don't understand psychologically how our brains get into foot fetishes.
There's a theory that it's because something to do with your brain's sexual region is close to something about how you control your feet or something. And so there's a theory that foot fetishes, because it's one of those fetishes that some of you can see how you stumble into that, or how it's textural or sensory, tights or whatever. It's you can see how someone could just develop that or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a theory that's basically just wires getting crushed in the brain. It's like fucking coriander is soap. It's just some people just love a good foot.
It's so interesting. Yeah, because I can really understand if there's something around the clothes that people wear, because the clothes are close to genitalia or to other parts of the body that are typically sexualized. But I really don't understand where feet come into it. It's like if you had a full-on fetish around hands, if a lot of women were into men's hands, but very much they want photos of it so they can jack off to them.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's a very specific kind of fetish.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, hands are nice. I understand the sexuality and intimacy of hands, but I wouldn't look at a photo of a hand and be able to rub one out to it, you know?
It in and of itself is not doing anything for me.
But
in the
for
same way that
men
with
feet in shoes, it does something for them.
I think
that's all they need.
I also think sometimes you can tell when someone is repressing, probably unbeknownst to them, a foot fetish. By the way, sometimes, when people's feet are in a photo, people will be like, oh, put your feet away. That's nasty. That's gross. Feet aren't inherently gross. I feel neutral about feet.
Very much so. I think most feet
abject
can be
reaction.
Sometimes feet are a bit gross. I feel like men have pretty bad feet sometimes.
Well, that's just
gnarly and mangled.
Lack of personal hygiene.
Exactly. But so that for that reason, I'd be a bit but it's not a private area.
No,
your feet aren't private. It's like saying, put your hands away.
Yeah.
Ugh, ghastly.
My word, by God, put your hands away.
Makes no sense. That's the thing. If you're living with a foot fetish, I don't want to go into the specifics of it in this episode, But if you are living with
We're
a foot
minutes
fetish,
into talking about
what happens
it.
when you're at a beach and they're surrounded by
If you're
feet?
living with a foot fetish.
If you're living through a foot fetish, if you are surviving, if you're a foot fetish survivor,
email us.
Email
Not feet pics, just your stories.
just a story. Or maybe some feet pics.
Oh yeah.
I reckon I should get into selling feet pics. It'll make me a bit of money, and I have really flat feet, and I reckon, as we've spoken about, there's definitely some subgenre of foot fetish, like foot fetishists, that must really get off to a flat foot. They love an unarched sole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
An
They're like,
unarched
my
soul.
God, you're not getting conscripted into the army with these flat feet. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
You should do. You get good at foot popping or dangling.
What's foot popping? Is that popping a shoe off?
Yeah, but it's like popping the heel out of like a shoe.
What
you know?
is so? What that action is really a turn on.
That's foot popping.
And
You're
that's
taking
that's
the
a
shoe
real-
off, as well as dangling. That's like when you dangle, like it's usually like a high heel off of your like toes.
That's also the thing. A lot of it is like it's the idea of like shoes. Like people like I hear that like a lot of men will send shoes to women because they just want photos of the women wearing the shoes.
Yeah, but I think that's in the same way that sometimes men send women clothes and are like, that looks hot, I want you to wear it.
Yeah, and I think it's
You
a
know?
power thing as well of like, I bought you this and I want you to put it on. Because I think that's what men do as well of like, that's something special for me that I've bought you and I want to see you in it. Like I bought you this sexy red dress.
I do think for some of them that is what it is. I do think also though for some of them it's just the fantasy in their head.
Yeah.
They want to see it.
Yes.
And so it's just like, I want you to see that because it's the completion of this thing I like.
Yeah.
And often there's a reciprocal relationship that's going on in these scenarios.
Did you think that this conversation would turn into a full discussion about foot fetishes?
When I pitched my pink stink reverse thing,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Not at all did I think this would
But I
get
do
here.
feel like you baited me into it a little bit, you know?
Hey, speaking of bait, this week we watched Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
It was either foot fetishes or prolapses, Michelle. I think I went for the more savory.
This week we watched Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Can I say,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie.
You
and
did?
It wasn't good. I know it wasn't good, but I actually quite enjoyed myself. And I actually quite enjoyed watching it because I thought it was quite sweet. And also, like, Drew Barrymore has the cutest voice.
It is kind of sweet. It is kind of
Yeah.
sweet. Look, I don't think it's good, but I do think it's kind of sweet. I do think this movie is good proof that we are approaching, if not maybe at the fulcrum point, the tipping point, where we said that at the beginning, we're connoisseurs of bad movies. And at the beginning, it was like, oh, hey, a lot of these are just turgid and boring and offensive, like Zoolander 2 or Yogi Bear. Are like, this isn't entertainingly bad. This is bad.
Yeah.
You know? And we occasionally had these flashes of greatness, like Super Mario Bros. Or Highlander 2, you know? But we knew as we would eventually reach a point where we were in stone cold bad movie, this is fun to watch territory.
Yeah.
And I have known that at the very least, many of the last 50 are going to be a golden run. It might even be the last hundo.
I know. I have to say, like, this and the episode last week with
Holmes and Watson?
Holmes and Watson, I feel like we're not getting boring, shitty horror films.
No.
We're actually on a pretty good streak.
I
we
need to
turned a
double
corner?
check, but I don't know how many found footage horror movies we have left. We
Oh my
haven't had one
God.
in a while.
I never want to watch a found footage horror film ever again.
No.
It's been such a bad
I
experience.
don't care how good someone says it is. I'm not doing it.
There's nothing quite
Honestly.
like watching 250 films against your will, essentially.
Well, yeah.
Being legally obliged to watch
Legally
250
obligated. I mean,
really bad films.
There was the era where we had to watch, what was it, like 6 of those horrors in a row? The Spookums in April.
Yeah, that was a tough time.
That was rough.
That was a really bad
We're
dark
also
time.
both like burning out and hardcore.
We were. But I thought this was reasonably, to be honest, it's a Disney film, right?
It's Disney, yeah.
And I feel like it shouldn't, I'm not sure it deserves to be this low on the list. And also, I would like put this on par with most Disney things. Like, let me go back on
Most
that.
Disney
No.
things?
On most Disney things made after like 2000.
No, I feel like specifically what you might be thinking, because there's many Disney movies that are like unexpected Disney movies are really, really good. I think specifically this smacks of Disney Channel original.
That's what I mean. Like, it
Yeah.
reminds me of Camp Rock even.
Or
you
like
know?
High School Musical.
Yes.
It's like a surprisingly good Disney Channel original movie.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think that I really enjoyed, what's the German Shepherd's name? Delgado?
Delgado.
Delgado. Delgado, even though he had the classic hackneyed storyline of like an ex-police dog that lost his sense of smell. I really liked his character and his story, and him and Chloe bonding throughout the film is so wholesome. I loved it.
Like, I do have problems with this movies. I also liked Delgado.
Yeah, Delgado kind of moved me a bit, and when he tries to put Chloe on the train, and then she's like, Delgado, no, and then he's like, don't turn around, and then he does turn around.
He's kind of the secret hero of this movie. It's called Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and it pitches that it's going to be Puppy, the George Lopez one, really, and then it's really Drew Barrymore, but it's actually Delgado.
And I was thinking at the end, I was literally like, I can't wait to find out what happens at the end, because I want Chloe and Delgado to stay in each other's lives. And they don't, but they'll be friends forever. Yeah. You can tell.
They'll write letters to each other.
And also, like, because I was really keen to see who the voice actors were, so I stuck around for the credits, which I don't usually do. Usually, as soon as the film ends, I fucking close that laptop down. But I wanted to know.
Insane.
Well, yeah, Drew Barrymore, love her. Andy Garcia.
I mean, I'll get into it. Do you want me to just get into the key details?
Because I love Andy Garcia.
All right. So, to lead into it, this movie came out in 2008.
Yes.
As you said, starring Drew Barrymore, George Lopez, Andy Garcia, and Piper Perabo probably shares.
Piper Perabo.
I know. We talked about this on Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Did we?
Yeah, because she was one of the leads in that. Remember?
Yeah.
She hangs out with them.
She's from Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah.
And The Prestige.
She's good. She's only in it briefly, but
and she was in that really great iconic film about like a woman who's getting married who realizes she's gay. Like Piper Perabo falls in love with Lena Headey.
Lena Headey.
Headey, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one.
It's very queer. It's like when I was 16, I loved it.
Why did no one tell me there was a movie where Piper Perabo and Lena Headey fall in love?
Yeah, and like I think Piper's getting married to someone, and like Lena Headey, she meets her at like the engagement party or something, and it's about these women falling in love. You should watch it.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds exactly up my alley.
Yeah.
I want to get into the returning actors specifically because it is shocking.
Okay.
Because Drew Barrymore, because she was in Freddy Got Fingered. Mm-hmm. Piper Perabo, who was in The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
George Lopez, because he was in both Marmaduke, also voicing a talking dog, and Meet the Blacks.
We've had a lot of talking dogs on this list.
We have.
And that movie Strays is coming out, and I can already see it getting onto this list.
Yeah,
if it wasn't locked, it would be immediately added.
See Jamie Lee Curtis was in Halloween Resurrection. Yeah. Cheech Marin was in Spy Kids 3 Game Over. Loretta Devine was in Urban Legends Final Cut. Also, Louise Guzman will be in a movie we have in a few weeks, Adventures of Pluto Nash. I usually don't preempt, but the sheer volume going on. And last, the director, Raja Gosnell, directed Home Alone 3.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a haven for all stars.
This might I feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be the movie with like the most of like the key returning actors. I'm not including when we find out thanks to MR's incredible website that there's like uncredited extras and stuff, but like of key cast, this is more than any I've ever seen.
That's wild.
Yeah. Raja Gosnell directed. Oh, by the way, Raja Gosnell does not look how you think he does.
Okay.
He was named after his dad's friend, Raja Muhyiddin.
Is he a white man?
He is.
Remember how we couldn't decide how
looks like
Ty West would look? And I thought he'd be like a hunky Eurasian man. I did not think Raja Gosnell would look like that.
The whitest man I've ever seen.
He looks like your new boyfriend's dad.
Yeah, he does. Wow, that's a great... Yeah, I'm not going to do any more bits. You've done the perfect one.
Fantastic.
He also directed, by the way, Never Been Kissed. The original Big Mama's House.
Oh.
Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. Yeah.
Like Monster Island?
Yeah. Like the live action ones. The Smurfs. Also, Show Dogs. And he was an editor long before that. He edited Home Alone 1 and 2.
Fuck off.
That's how he got his job directing Home Alone 3.
That's
he also,
crazy.
This blew my mind. He was an additional editor on Good Morning Vietnam, and he edited Pretty Woman.
Oh, wow.
And Mrs. Doubtfire as well.
Oh, all right.
Like, this guy's good at he's good at his job. However, I did note he has a very short text part of his Wikipedia, but it still manages to, in that quite small Wikipedia, include the line, while many of his films have been met with poor reception from critics, they have generally been very successful at the box office. Guy has so little in his Wikipedia, and they were still like, yeah, but his movies suck.
Well, what was the budget of this film, and what did it make?
This movie was shot for $20 million.
Yeah.
And it made $149.3 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And spawned 2 sequels.
Holy shit.
So,
all right.
I get it.
Not bad.
I'd give him another movie.
This film was strange for me. Like, I'm give me the overview now. But also, I would like to point out, we can get into this later, but I'm not a dog person. But this film made me very endeared to a lot of the dog characters.
And you famously don't like dogs.
Yes. I even thought Chloe was cute. I was like, she's a cute little chihuahua with a sad little face.
There was the time that I unpacked, because listeners, Abby has a long time dismissal, I would rather put it, of dogs. Not hatred. You're not like, oh, yuck dogs. Dismissal of dogs, but not all dogs. And we couldn't figure out what it was. And then I realized it comes from your love of cats. If the dog could have been a cat, you don't like it generally. But if a dog has a certain, like, it's a big dog, you're like, well, obviously that couldn't have been a cat.
Yeah. And that comes into it. I think I've also realized as the years went on that it wasn't really the dogs. Like, if dogs just existed in the world, I would really like them.
Sure.
I think I just really don't like dog owners.
Yeah.
Like, when you're out and like people almost expect you to fawn over their dog. Like, I hate it when people have their dog off leash and the dog like runs up to you and the person's like, haha, sorry, he's just really friendly. I'm like, get your fucking dog off me. Like, make him behave. I don't want this thing approaching me. Also, you and I were at the park and we watched a dog literally maul a guy on a bike, and the owner was just like, oh, sorry, man. Do you remember that?
That's right.
I was like, I find dog owners really irresponsible, and I find that they expect that you're just going to like their dog. And sometimes there's a really ugly dog too, and people are like, isn't he cute? And I'm like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
He looks like a weird, smushed in, strange, wrinkly ball sack of a dog.
I get it.
And he's called
Chihuahuas
Sergeant.
stress me out to look at, because they look upset and upsetting. I look like, it feels like I'm looking directly at its skull.
Yes. And I feel like the way that we have mutated dogs to be smaller. We have.
No, but mutated is very funny.
Yes, we've mutated their genetics. We've bred them to be less healthy, to be shorter, to be smaller, to be cuter. But it's not cuter, is it? Because a pug literally looks like it's on death's door all the time.
It's very funny
Put it
to me
sleep.
when people are anti-GMO and have a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. You meet a pug and it's like got this heavy labored breathing and you're like, I'm so sorry, buddy. Why did we bring you into this world?
Yeah. We birthed a horror.
We did. Your time will be short and full of pain.
Some dogs show that we tried to play God and we failed.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
and maybe I have a cat that snorts and makes weird noises too, but that's just because she's obese. Okay? Not all cats are like that. She's just rare. She's a husky woman.
she's not like that because of her breed. She's just like that.
Look, I do love older dogs and I love big buffy dogs. Like, I like German Shepherds. They're very cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really a small dog person because if it's that small, might as well have a cat.
Did you hear the overview?
Yeah.
In Beverly Hills, California.
Abby's bad taste.
No, I think this one, I'm like, you're just allowed to have this. This doesn't impact anyone else. In Beverly Hills, California, wealthy businesswoman Vivian leaves her richly pampered pet chihuahua, Chloe, with her irresponsible niece, Rachel, while she embarks on a business trip for 10 days. Puppy, the landscaper Sam's pet chihuahua, has an unrequited crush on Chloe, by which she is disgusted. On a whim, Rachel decides to go to Mexico with her friends and brings Chloe along. When Rachel leaves Chloe alone in the hotel room to go dancing at a club, Chloe goes looking for her but gets dognapped as she tries to find Rachel and is sent to the dogfights in Mexico City. There she meets a German Shepherd named Delgado, and Rachel comes back to the hotel and is frantic when she finds Chloe missing. That's like the setup. Chloe narrowly escapes with the help of Delgado, in the process setting a particularly aggressive Doberman, El Diablo, against her. Very funny choice to call them El Diablo.
El Diablo was Edward James Olmos, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fucking,
insane.
it's Adama is...
Poor Doberman's got a bad rap in this film.
Yeah. They really did. I mean, he called his dog the Devil.
The Devil, yeah.
Delgado reluctantly agrees to take Chloe back to Beverly Hills while Rachel, Sam, and Puppy head to Mexico to find her. After Chloe is conned out of her priceless collar by a rat and an iguana... she and Delgado attempt to take a train back to California but are left in the deserts of Chihuahua. Delgado reveals he was once a police dog but was let go after a traumatic incident left him without a sense of smell. They are attacked by mountain lions but rescued by a pack of indigenous Chihuahuas who then take them to Aztec ruins.
I really liked that bit. I know it's silly, but they take them to their little Chihuahua empire and I was like, this is so cool.
Insane.
If I was a kid, I'd froth this film, dude.
You know what? That does recontextualize that.
Yeah. It's a kid's film.
I get that. I do think as a kid, I would love that there's like Chihuahua world building.
Yes. There's like Chihuahua like universe in the middle of the Chihuahua desert.
That is fun.
Yeah.
El Diablo catches up to them, capturing Chloe in an Aztec temple. Delgado happens upon the rat and iguana from earlier who have Chloe's collar, and Delgado breaks through his psychosomatic smell issues to lead them all to Chloe. After a scuffle, they manage to stop the dog nappers, though El Diablo escapes, and Chloe finally accepts Papi's love. They manage to all make it back to Beverly Hills without Vivian knowing any of what occurred, and Delgado is offered another chance to become a Mexican police dog.
Delgado just fucked me up. I just thought he was such a sweet character because I love Andy Garcia. I love a good ex-cop story. And he was a sweet little puppy that had a lot of allegiance and love.
Yeah.
And like literally there's a bit where Chloe and Delgado have just escaped from like the dogfighting place. And she's like, she tries to take him back to the hotel, to this restaurant, and she's like, I've got a card, and like I'm a member here. Like I'll be treated well. I'm a spoiled little pooch. They'll love me.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that she looks a mess and looks like a feral dog, like a stray dog. And she goes in and she says to him like just wait out here. I'll get us I'll talk to them, and then we can have dinner together. And so he's waiting outside, and he thinks that. Like she gets kicked out immediately out the back, and he goes up to the window and he thinks he sees her dining there, like doing fine dining by herself in a little doggy jacket.
Yeah.
And it's a different white Chihuahua with like a spot on its face that he doesn't see. And he looks so dejected. He thinks that she's just like left him behind. And I was like, my little heart was breaking for him. I don't know why I enjoyed this film so much. I don't know why.
I think because Delgado is sweet. Andy Garcia does a good performance, and specifically, I think you get a lot out of like poor, like when it's like the working class man is getting rejected and like trying to fight against that and just like trying to do their best.
And like the sweet little animals.
Yeah, and they're sweet
and
little
they're just
animals.
dogs
That helps.
being dogs, and there's no annoying humans around. Like,
well, there are some at the beginning.
Yeah,
there are many at the beginning.
Jamie Lee.
Yeah,
Jamie Lee.
But she's doing great in it.
She is.
I watched this with my darling girlfriend Brooke, and literally Jamie Lee does like a little bit to Vivian, and she does this smile, and I was like, Jamie Lee Curtis has incredible teeth. I don't think I've ever like consciously acknowledged that in another thing, but I was like, holy shit, when did she get such nice fucking teeth?
I mean, they're probably veneers.
Yeah, well, she deserves it.
I know.
She put in the work.
I mean,
all right?
To be fair, any actor tends to have to get work done on their teeth. If you don't have nice teeth, it brings attention to it.
Unless you're at the tipping point where the teeth are distinctive, which is what Steve Buscemi said. He once said that he was told many times. He went to his dentist of many years, and the dentist apparently said, I can fix your teeth for you. And he said, you couldn't fix that teeth, I'll lose my career. And I'm like, he knows that he has a distinct look.
Claude has like a little snaggle tooth. Like there's one of his teeth stands out and like is a bit over the rest of his teeth. And I find it so cute. I remember on the first date I kept looking at it and I was like, I love his little snaggle tooth.
I used to have a tooth like that, but my mum got convinced by an orthodontist to get me braces, and she
very nice teeth.
Regrets it because my teeth were not that bad. I had an overbite, and
overbites are good to fix though.
Okay.
And your teeth look fantastic.
Thanks.
I must say, you've got very nice straight teeth. I had braces, but my bottom teeth fucked.
Your teeth look fine. This is bad for an audio medium. It's just talking about what our teeth look like.
Well, my bottom row of teeth, one of the teeth never grew back after I lost my baby tooth. And so my orthodontist was like, we need to fill in that hole. Otherwise, all the work we did on this bottom level will be for nothing. And her teeth will just go back to like a wonky state because nothing's pushing them together.
Yeah.
And we decided not to do that. So even though I got braces on my bottom teeth, they're fucked.
You pull it off.
Thanks.
Looks great.
Thanks.
But this movie, right? Also, I love that in the opening credits, Drew Barrymore didn't just get an and Drew Barrymore. She got and Drew Barrymore as the voice of Chloe.
Yeah.
I really want to anchor it in.
Doesn't Drew Barrymore just have the sweetest voice though? Like there is something about her voice that I could listen to all day. She's got that cute semi-lisp.
Yeah.
And she just sounds so, I don't know, positive and sweet all the time.
Like, she's the most obvious casting for this in the world because she's the Beverly Hills Valley Girl.
Yes,
like
definitely.
Perfect casting for it.
Yeah.
Especially because Chloe has to go from obscenely annoying to sympathetic quite quickly in this.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out who it was at first because I missed the Drew Barrymore as Cleo.
Yeah.
But I was like, who is this voice? And when she was kind of being a snobby Valley Girl dog at the beginning, I couldn't tell. But as soon as she started getting into like hardship in Mexico and she started kind of becoming more upset, I could really hear that Drew Barrymore voice coming through.
You can really hear it peeking through.
Yeah.
Which by the way, talking to the voice actors, I was losing my mind because there's so many voice actors in this, and I was like, oh, who's that? Oh, fuck, it's Luis Guzman. Oh, who's that? It's fucking Edward James Olmos. Like I said, I was like, holy shit, Loretta Devine's in this. But there was one of the people I was like, I don't recognize this person, but I do recognize how they sound. And it's one of the, Piper Bravo, Rachel has two friends.
Yeah.
One of them is played by Ali Hillis, who I know because she is Lightning in Final Fantasy 13, one of my favorite games when I was a kid, Scout Harding in Dragon Age Inquisition, a game I also love, and Karin in Naruto Shippuden, which I've been watching with my old housemate. Like, incredible. I was like, holy shit.
Are you going to play Baldur's Gate, by the way?
I'm so excited.
It's already out.
Well, when this comes out.
No.
No. I don't have a PC. It comes out on console September 5th, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
So I haven't been able to play it.
Yeah.
By the time this comes out, I will be probably deep in the throes of playing it. I'm so keen.
You can talk to Claude because Claude is loving it.
The other night, actually, I still play Dungeons and Dragons with some of my friends remotely in Sydney, just as like a nice way to catch up after moving. And I mean, I know you know this, but the listeners don't, And the other day we were just not feeling great. Like a couple of us weren't feeling super great, but we like get a lot out of like hanging out. But D&D can be like a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned Baldur's Gate, and I was like, "Can we watch you play?" And he was like, "Okay."
Nice.
And so we just watched him play Baldur's Gate, and he was talking because he and one of the others had it, and the rest of us really wanted it, but we're waiting for it on console.
Yeah.
And so he was just like talking about how it worked and showing us like he talked to this bear in it, and it was really cool and really like sweet.
Claude was saying how funny it is how everyone's really horny for you as a character. He's like, it's really strange. Like you'll meet them, and then within 3 sentences they'll be like, "Do you want to fuck?"
Hell yeah, that's what I want.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Look, I want them to be horny. I more want them to be horny because with horny sometimes comes romance, and I get a lot out of romance in stories, more than I ever thought I did. I didn't realize it until I was playing Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Just quite a sweet love story in it, and I just was getting so heartwarmed by it. I was like, I really am invested in romance. I just don't often like romance movies by themselves, but they're frequently some of my favorite parts. I just hate when they're jammed in. The classic, like, this is an adventure and these people know each other, so now they like each other. I'm like, I don't care about that because that's not romance.
Yeah. I think I totally get you. I like really long form romantic plots. Like Yen and Geralt in The Witcher. I love the way that storyline plays out.
Me too. Especially
like the Djinn when they...
Yeah, the Djinn is so beautiful, especially as the way it concludes the story in the books, which is even sweeter.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for Baldur's Gate 3 more than anything because I can make an explicitly trans character without the cyberpunk problem of it ties pronouns to your voice. Gross. That's not nice.
I saw Claude making his dwarf character and he had like a big chode dick.
Yeah, you can pick your dick.
Yeah.
You can pick your dick.
Pick a dick. Any dick.
Again, it's better than cyberpunk, which I think it was like dick 1, dick 2 off. Which is so funny.
It's kind of like the process you went through.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Dick 1, dick 2.
We gotta talk about some chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you know what? This is related because one of the things I thought about the first act of this movie especially is these dogs are very sexually attracted to each other.
They're very... I mean, but dogs are horny.
Yeah, but...
Don't you infantilize these dogs. How dare you minimize their sexual experiences.
I'm sorry for shaming how horny the dogs were in the kids' movie. My bad.
You never met a dog humping your leg?
You know what? You're right. Isn't
it strange how female dogs also hump? Do you know that?
Well, I think female humans also hump.
Yeah, but like I feel like dogs do it.
It's pretty good.
Actually, out of like maybe they just enjoy the action of it. And it's not something sexual.
It's stimming.
But yeah, maybe.
Kinda.
But Claude's parents have 2 dogs, little Dachshunds, called Dachshunds, called Minnie and Eiji. They're both girls, and Eiji used to just hump Minnie and didn't really know what she was doing, kind of looked dissociative while she was doing it, and Minnie was in heat, so really wanted it, and they were like, what the fuck is going on?
The way that animals that don't experience sexual pleasure have sex is really hard to process as a species that perform sex frequently for sexual pleasure.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of hard to like wrap your brain around it because it feels uncomfortable, but that's because you're applying how we do it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Hey, how did they fucking not notice the diamonds around her neck? When she gets dog napped, she just gets stuck in a cage, and then later the head of the dog nappers is watching the dog fight and spots the diamond necklace. It's a diamond necklace. How did they not notice she has a diamond necklace on that is described as priceless?
Maybe one of his associates had pulled her out and put her in the cage, and then he sees it for the first time when she's out.
But that's what I mean. Why did none of the crew? It's a diamond it's not subtle.
To be honest, I'm not going to lie. If someone was wearing a diamond necklace, I wouldn't immediately if it was on a dog, I wouldn't immediately think it would be real. I'd be like, that's probably just glass.
Sure.
I wouldn't be able to tell immediately. I know a lot of people could, but what if they just didn't know? They just thought it was a tacky glass necklace.
So I'm just saying, bad move for a dog napper.
Yeah.
To nap a dog and then immediately go like, that's just fake plastic diamonds. You got to check, bro.
I can't believe dog napping is like an actual horrible lucrative business.
Yeah.
I saw this person posting on like Thornbury Good Karma on like Facebook, and she said that her dog was just in their front garden and a van literally just pulled up and grabbed it. And she like never saw it again.
Oh my God.
She was being like, I need help trying to find my dog. And everyone was really pitching in to put up posters, but they never found it. It's really sad.
That is really sad.
Yeah.
What a sad story to tell.
Keep your dogs inside, people, if you're not outside with it.
That was Abby's sad stories. Is that your creepy tale of this week?
Yeah, Abby's sad story.
Wow, you're
I'm
really...
gonna tell you a story.
God damn it. Piece of shit. Wait, you know what? This podcast is going to end on the final episode where I finally strangle you. At which point you hear a rating descending gunshot.
It just keeps playing out forever.
It's the longest episode recorded. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, the Piper Perabo, there's the bit where she is like pretending to be a dog on the phone to Vivian.
Yeah.
She does some pretty good dog impressions.
I think it's just ADR'd. You literally see her lips and she kind of just goes...
Frank Welker did some pretty good dog impressions.
I'm pretty sure they did. And then they cut away to a shot where they're further away from her, and I think it's just to mask the ADR work.
You know what? If that's true, that wouldn't be on Wikipedia, but it would be on IMDb. I want to see if I can see like dog ADR.
Sure.
Who did dog ADR? And
Muffles.
Voice.
Yorkshire Terrier.
Trained dog. There's several people who are uncredited and just described here as Mexican, which is a strange vibe. Well, you know, I can't see anyone specifically who's been credited as any dog ADR, but that doesn't mean it's...
I just watch it.
Not.
You can see it.
Well, yeah, but
it doesn't match her
That
lips.
doesn't mean it's not Piper Perabo.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if
Necessarily.
they then got her in to do the dog sound when it would be a lot cheaper to get anyone else in.
It would be. It would be cheaper. Maybe you've already got Perabo in the booth and, you know, you're Roger Gosnell and you're like, hey, kid, you know, why don't you... oh, sorry, we're not doing that. I'll do a different Italian-American. Hey, Perabo, you gotta do the dog. While you're in there, can you give a Chihuahua? Just be careful about how you're gonna do it, huh?
Can you give me a little bit more gabagool?
Give me a little more, but I'd be careful about it if I were you, huh? I'd make sure I do a good job.
I feel like I'm in season 3 of The Sopranos right now. This is remarkable. New Jersey, here I come.
Yeah, there we go. There you go. See, I've got other voices, you know,
Yeah.
even if they're still just next to New York. Hey, look, do you want to hear some trivia?
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, but before the music comes in, I do want to add to everyone that right before the end disclaimer that is like don't adopt dogs, which is something that is like both good and clearly put there because Disney has made too many dog movies that then encourage people to go out and adopt dogs. Right before that, Puppy says to Chloe, "Puppy like." Which was particularly funny to me. By the way, oh my God, okay, no, we're not going to trivia right now. We have to do this one thing because before watching this movie, I turned to Brooke and I was like, I bet he's... Because I knew it was a Mexican-American movie. It's a co-production. I was like, I bet that Chihuahua, the one that's Poppy, I bet he's going to be like, hey, my guy. And then it's fucking George Lopez doing that exact thing. I was like, I was just doing George Lopez.
Yeah.
It's just him. All right, let's get into some trivia. IMDb trivia. According to George Lopez... Puppy, the Chihuahua he voices in the movie, was 1 day away from being put down before he was rescued for the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the dog that acted
the actor dog.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Now, the puppy was played apparently by several Chihuahuas, but I guess at least one of the Chihuahuas, that was true. Also, I do still have trivia, but there's so much trivia for this on IMDb, and every single bit is basically, this is the way that the dogs were safe.
Yeah.
It was like, Piper Parabo didn't actually toss the dog. What happened is there was a safe thing. It's just like behind the scenes explanation of how every single instance of a dog they were being safe and well treated.
I had the equivalent of that last week in the Sherlock, like the Holmes and Watson episode.
Will Ferrell didn't actually get hurt.
It was more like there was like 20 pieces of trivia that was like, these actors actually worked on this other production of a different story around Sherlock Holmes. There's a million Sherlock Holmes adaptations. And so they're like, did you know this actor has already worked in a Sherlock Holmes thing? And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. It's not that engaging, especially when it's like clearly filmed in England. And I'm like, everyone you pull from has been in a Sherlock Holmes. You know? Reese Witherspoon was the first choice for the role of Chloe.
Oh.
I normally don't care for like etc. blah blah blah. I was going to play them because there's so many of them, but like I think that's interesting because Drew Barrymore as Chloe is such an obvious cast
because she reminds you of Elle Woods.
Yeah. Well, Reese Witherspoon does make sense.
Yeah.
Here's a few that are fundamentally. Oh no, sorry. Here's a couple that are fundamentally just mistakes. The Aztecs never colonized Chihuahua. So all of the Aztec those were the Toltecs, I think.
Is Chihuahua quite north in Mexico? Is it near the Texan border?
Yes, it's near the Texan border. It's quite east of California, which is another thing that people pointed out. They head directly south and somehow end really, really east. Puerto Vallarta doesn't have any railroads at all. And additionally, Tijuana doesn't have a train station. There's no way you could get to all the places they went at the short time they made going there. So, I just love that this movie hinges on them taking a train to Chihuahua to get to the Aztec temple, and none of that is anything.
You're not going to tell me that there aren't a tribe of wild Chihuahuas living in the Chihuahua desert, right?
What I'm saying is that they weren't Aztecs, they were Toltecs.
So the Toltec Chihuahuas living in the desert.
That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, don't worry. Oh. But here's the last one that I think is sweet. Chloe was named after writer Annalisa LaBianco's dog, a 4-year-old Chihuahua.
Oh, that's sweet.
Do you want to hear some reviews?
Yes.
Reviews! This movie has 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty high.
And I'm pretty sure we're still in the 3.8s, right?
I think so.
Let me check the list. I should have done this before.
It's your movie, babe.
It's my movie.
It's your movie.
It's my movie, babes. It's my movie, and we're all just living in it.
It's my movie, and I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to.
Yeah, 3.8. Yeah. And we're still in the 3.8s. Mark Olson of the Los Angeles Times said, one could try to overlook the film's view of Mexico as an either-or land of resort poshness and street-level poverty, chiefly populated by criminals and hustlers of all stripes, except that view forms the entire film, driving the narrative impulse by which the spoiled puppy makes her journey. He also wrote, think of it as the Paris Hilton complex, that idea of young people as little princesses and princes who get what they want, and what they want is easy pickings and a life without engagement. So he really didn't like it.
But, I think, isn't the idea that Chloe learns to get rid of her pompousness? She gets rid of her little booty. Remember when she's on the train?
Yeah, I do think some of the review kind of smacks a little of I didn't pay attention to the third act of this movie.
Yeah, because she's literally turns around and is like, why do I wear these weird little boots? Like, my paws don't get that dirty here. Like, why would I wear them in Beverly Hills? My life is so pretentious. And now I really know what living is like. Isn't that what it's meant to be about?
Yes.
Fucking watch the movie again then.
Yeah, Mark Olson.
Fuck you, Mark Olson.
Mark Olson. More like Mark Oldson. Get your eyes checked, bro. Here's some IMDb reviews.
Are they going to be more positive?
They're all 10 out of 10. I got 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And I got 4 and they're meaty too. This one is Great Family Show for All Ages by Faith Q. Me, my husband, and our 2 children, ages 4 and 7, went to see this movie, and we all had a great time.
Same.
It kept everyone's attention for the entire length of the movie. It was hilarious, fast-paced, and heartwarming. I'm not sure why the movie has such bad ratings on here. I think people are being way too critical. The theater was full of couples without children, which was surprising to me, but it seemed like everyone enjoyed the movie, and no one walked out.
Unlike Holmes and Watson.
Hey!
Interesting.
Before seeing the movie, I read the comments here and went into it with little expectations. I was happily surprised, enough so to take the time to register here at IMDb and state my opinion.
Registered for this review.
Enough said. 10 out of 10.
Aww.
I just love that the 10 out of 10 includes everyone paid attention to it and nobody walked out. I think that's very funny to give a full score.
Yeah.
This one is What an Adorable Film by Francine Arnone.
True.
I thought this movie was adorable.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, it made fun of spoiled Beverly Hills brats, but by no means was it racist. At a time in history when everything is so serious, we need to be able to laugh. This is a no-brainer film, and I welcomed the humor and simplicity. The film was perfectly suited for children of all ages. The characters were a bit silly, but how could you not love a talking dog of any kind? There was actually a plot to this story, which is sometimes missing in animated films. This is not an animated film, and that's not... Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by that. I found myself actually rooting for the characters. Knowing how people are with their little dogs, I enjoyed the fashion show. Having 3 little ones myself, I understand what we put them through with outfit changes. Oh. When I saw this movie, the audience was mixed. I was surprised to see that many people over the age of 21 were there without children. 10 out of 10. I don't know why that's a recurring theme, that people without kids went to go see it. Here's another one titled, If You Have Not Seen This Movie, Don't Knock It, by MB Wright-1. I have been reading the comments on this movie. Have you ever seen it or just knocking it? If you want to knock a movie, why not try a movie that show a man in his 50s and 60s acting like he is in his 20s or 30s? Look at the one this year with and last with Harrison Ford, Bruce Willis, Samuel Jackson, and Stallone, for just a few. At their age, as I should know, they would be in ICU after a fight. The special effects that it takes for the stunts that you know could not be done in any other way, but in a movie at their age or any other age could not be done. So if you like these types of movies and can suspend logic and go with your imagination and let go and have good, clean fun, then it is Beverly Hills Chihuahua. Oh, by the way, my type of movie is horror and sci-fi. Another question, if it is not for the Abby reason that you dislike the movie, is it because you know there are people who treat their pets like in the movie? Well, sorry, I have no idea what...
Did they say the Abby reason?
Yes, they did.
What the fuck?
Sorry, there's no way to pass what that sentence was. Well, for this, I will take the word of Poppy in the teaser trailer. Jealous? 10 out of 10.
Wow, you really took so much from this film.
That's maybe one of the most confusingly written reviews we've read.
The Abby reason?
I think they were having some sort of episode and we were just all living in it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Here's the last one I have titled Funny by Vio Babu. Vio Babu. Vio Babu. Or was that last week? We were talking about Borat last week. Vio Babu. It's just a funny movie, people. Why are you so critical? So mean. Did you at least see all the movie? Did you at least enjoy this type of movie? Because if you are a thriller, mystery, action fan, you won't find what you're looking for here. It was made for kids, but you can watch it as an adult too. Dogs are so cute, funny, sweet. There are a few nice jokes. You will have a smile on your face at the end of this movie. Of course, if you're looking for a smart and addicting movie, you won't find it here.
Okay, up until that moment, I was like, the director wrote this.
It has no mystery. It's predictable. It's a comedy. The Home Alone type. So think that this could be a great movie to watch with your kid in a Sunday evening. And let's all admit, this movie gives us remembers of our childhood. With our favorite animals, toys, stupid games, love and hate, addicting stories.
Why do people keep saying addicting?
That's
not the word.
You know, our childhood, favorite animals, toys, stupid games, love and hate. I like the way the little dogs were dressed. You can see a lot of people nowadays buying the kind of fancy stuff for their pets, and that's because they love them. Of course, some of them are exaggerated. Dogs wearing diamonds. I'd love to be that dog. For its type, for this kind of story, it's a nice piece. So I wait to see the second part now. It was released, but I saw this first one today. Tomorrow, second part. Chihuahua, 10 out of 10.
Chihuahua.
These are actually some of my favorite reviews we've had. I
Yeah.
love all of these so much. But that was Viobiabu. What was your review?
I actually had a really good time, Michelle.
You did.
I did. It
You
was quite
seem
nice.
so ashamed of the fact that you had a good
I
time.
know, because it's just more proof that my brain might be melting. But maybe it's the world that is wrong. Maybe the people on IMDb are right.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the haters. They're all pretentious.
Yeah.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
I liked it. I actually had a really good time. I would rate it. I don't think it deserves to be on this list. I'll be honest. If Camp Rock isn't on this list, why is this on this list? Huh?
That's so like it's such a left field pull, but I agree with you.
Yeah. So for that reason, I'm just upset that God's Not Dead was like Nothing to Lose was like 5.5 out of 10 or something stupid. How is that possible?
Yeah.
This has to be more than that.
God's Not Dead is actively harmful as a movie, and it has like a full point higher than this.
I'm giving this a 5.6 just so it's above God's Not Dead. I mean, Nothing to Lose.
Well, yeah. I
They
mean,
overlap.
any of them, you know?
Yeah. 5.6.
Any of the ones that are just religious propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I fundamentally agree with your proposition and with Viobiabu.
Bonus point as well for Jamie Lee Curtis coming in. Bonus
true.
decimal point.
That's
5.7.
true. Okay.
5.7.
5 point, let the record show.
Yeah.
5.7.
Yeah. And actually bonus point for Edward James Olmos. So 5.8. And actually bonus point for Andy Garcia. So 5.9.
Oh, wow. 5.9.
And bonus point for Drew Barrymore. Let's just give it a 6. Okay. 6 out of 10.
I agree that this movie shouldn't be on this list, but that's also because I think many of these other movies should have lower ratings. And so something that is still a 4, I think actually shouldn't be on this list.
Yeah.
I think this list should start at fucking 3.
Yeah.
But it's also not good. And you know what? I said at the end of last
Excuse
episode.
me?
I said at the end of last episode, it's called Beverly Hills Chihuahua. If they don't have Beverly Hills by Weezer, I was going to fucking lose it.
And they
There's
didn't.
so many needle drops of this. There's so many. And some of them focused around California.
Yeah.
And yet, Weezer is lacking. I'm not even a big fan of the Wheeze, all right? Rivers Cuomo seems like a chill dude. But it's not like, I'm not sitting here as a Weezer stan.
Don't you think it's good that they went for something not quite as obvious as
I didn't
just
think
Beverly
they-
Hills by Weezer? Like maybe they were going for something more nuanced.
I don't think that's what they did do. I don't think what they did do is more nuanced. I think they didn't do the correct choice. And for that, I will knock off a full point.
Oh,
And I will make it a 4.8.
wow. Rude.
Yes. But, you know, that's just what we thought. You can find us expressing these thoughts as well on social media. You can find us on x.com at Rate Descend Pod. You can find us on TikTok at Rating Descending. You can find us on YouTube at Rating Descending. Or you could email you can email us at ratingdescending@gmail.com. We love the emails.
Or you can find us on our individual accounts. I'm on Instagram under Abigail J. Ward.
Or you can find me on X and Instagram under Michelle.St.
And please, pretty please, with a cherry on top, drop us a review wherever you get your podcast to show us a bit of love. It truly, truly makes a difference.
But that was Beverly Hills Chihuahua. Abby, what is it that we're watching next week?
Michelle, next week we are watching, and we've seen this before, The Love Guru.
Oh my
The
god.
Mike Myers comedy
Oh my god.
that we double billed one time with Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, in one of the in the proto version of the podcast, we had a double billing, and so now here we are again.
Another Mike Myers film.
Oh,
and
my
actually, I remember Cat in the Hat, fantastic film, obviously, but Love Guru was a slog.
It's pretty turgid.
It's pretty horrible.
But you know, he sings 9 to 5 in an Indian accent. Isn't that pretty funny?
Oh god, it's gonna be painful.
Isn't that pretty
isn't
funny?
It's gonna be painful. This will make you appreciate Cat in the Hat, okay?
Yeah, I can think that Cat in the Hat is better than Love Guru, though.
First, you don't like Cat in the Hat. Then you don't like, Beverly Hills Chihuahua. What have you got against animals?
Right? Oh, see you then.
You should just turn into a ghost.